Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gerard Busch from the Netherlands, from VPRO, and I'm very happy and proud to introduce to you the director of Double Play, Mr. Ernest Dickerson. And the cast of the film, excuse me, as well.
My cast is right up here in the front. Feel free to ask them some questions.
After a while, not just now. You have had your chance in the theater.
Okay.
First question is, because many people have tried to make Frank Martinez Arion's novel into a film, Dubbelspel. They all failed. You succeeded. Why?
I'm not sure. I know that a lot of the other productions fell apart after a while. But Frank was totally behind this. I know he gave his seal of approval to the script and to Gregory Elias, who is our executive producer. So we were very lucky that we were able to do this.
Yeah, because you could explain to him why you wanted to make it, that it was important that you were going to make it. Why did you succeed where the others failed?
You know, unfortunately, I never had a chance to meet him in person. He passed away 2 days before we went down to start pre-production. So I think Gregory conveyed the film that I wanted to make to him. I think he told him about it. And apparently he was very happy with the direction that we were taking with it. So I'm really sorry I never had a chance to meet him.
But you do know Curacao, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't live there. And some days I wish I did, but I've been to Curacao since, been going there since 1984. And I've had a chance to spend a lot of time there and get to know a lot of the people there. So.
Was that for you a reason to want to make this film?
Yeah. I was, it's a story I love telling, is that my wife and I were in Curacao the Christmas 3 months before I got the script. And we were there for Christmas and New Year's. And I told her, I'd love to shoot another movie down here, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. How's it ever going to happen? And 3 months later, I got the script sent to me.
God sent.
I like to think we were meant to make this.
There's this section here at Rotterdam that's called Black Rebels. Mm-hmm. Are you a black rebel?
What's a rebel?
Yeah, I think someone who revolts against the status quo, I guess.
I think if a rebel is someone who's always searching for the truth, who's always trying to find the truth in every situation and a rebel is an artist who's always trying to find a way of stretching the medium, playing the medium to its ultimate. I guess you can consider me a rebel, yeah.
And you've been working in television last years, decade probably.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
The Wire,
yeah.
The Walking Dead, Dream, very important TV series. How is directing for a TV series different from a film like Double Play?
Well, in a TV series, you're always going into, if you're an episodic director, you're always going into a situation that's already been set up. The great thing about making a movie is that you're inventing the world. You're starting that world. You're bringing those characters in. You're casting those characters. With a television show, you're going into something that's been set up by somebody else. It always feels like you're going into somebody else's party.
Ah.
Yeah.
So that's safer, but not as rewarding, I would say. I would guess.
Not all the time, but I've been fortunate in that the shows that I've done, they want a filmmaker's perspective. The Wire, they wanted filmmakers.
Best series last 20 years.
Yeah. Treme, which is the same people, David Simon and Nina Noble. They all wanted a filmmaker's perspective. Dexter was the same way, and The Walking Dead.
And what is a filmmaker's perspective?
They want each director to approach an episode like a mini movie. There's a lot of television that's very cookie cutter, and and very much the same.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah, you know, mostly just close-ups, just headshots, you know, and unimaginative staging. But now, television has gotten much more cinematic. And I think part of it is because people have bigger screen televisions in their homes. So you can emphasize a person in a landscape, which is something you didn't always see in television back in the old days. It was something you only saw in the movies.
Well, talk about landscape. We can talk about Curaçao. You shot there. Can you tell us a little bit how was it like? Shooting in Curaçao?
It was.
What are you thinking about?
Well, I'm thinking of every morning driving to Bandabao as the sun is coming out. I mean, it was wonderful. And we were there at the mercy of the elements. And
were they merciful?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It was good planning. And it was just a wonderful place to go to work every day.
And it was relatively easy, or was it a difficult shoot? Because Curaçao is small. There's no infrastructure maybe, or logistics for making such a film.
No, there isn't. But my producer, Lisa Cortez, and Gregory Ilias, I think, set up a structure that really made filming very smooth and easy. And I also like to think that the spirit of Mr. Arion was looking down on us and guiding us. Because
Watching over you.
yeah, watching over us and making sure that we did the right thing.
Okay. Well, you did.
Thank you.
This is an ensemble film. Does that mean that all those guys need equal attention?
I think so.
Did you get equal attention? Okay. Let me see, because now I'm off track. Oh no, we have to talk about Domino, of course, because it's not like it's very important in the film, and it's not like a very sexy game to shoot as a director. How do you approach a thing like that? People putting down Domino.
I thought of the Domino games as duels. Because to me, a lot of it what was going on the faces of the players, how, you know, their thought processes, how they were relating to their partners, how they were relating to their opponents. Actually, I took a lot of inspiration from the westerns of Sergio Leone. Because it wasn't so much what was happening on the table, but it was like what each man was doing. Because it says that each man would play dominoes the way they lived their lives, and so to me it was important to see how they were dealing with the game and how they were dealing with each other. Normally dominoes is played on a square table. I wanted it played on a round table because to me the circle is more symbolic of life, and that's one of the things that Sergio Leone did. He always staged his duels in arenas, in circular arenas, because it comes down to life and death.
So you chose a round table because it represents life. Okay. Do you have more examples of those sort of symbolic uses of stuff in your film? You all have just seen it, so maybe.
I'll have to think about that. But that was like one of the key things, because everybody was always asking me, why are you using a square table? And I said, there's a method to my madness. I definitely have a reason why.
But it wasn't for shooting, so that you could more easily swirl around the guys.
No, I could have done, what, could have gone the way that most people play dominoes. But to me, that table represented the way they lived their lives. So the circle worked much better for me.
We'll talk about all the guys that are all here, and they're all from all over the world, right? You handpicked them from all over the world.
Yeah.
Why and how?
Well, There's an old saying that
Well, if you have to travel all the world to find your actors, that's quite an investment, I would say.
yeah, you have to. You have to. There's an old saying that 90% of directing is casting, and it's so true. You know, you find the right cast, and then for me, I just become the perfect audience. I'm the first audience for the film because I watch what everybody does. So it's worth all the time and effort that you put into it.
Almost all the cast are here, but for me it was very good to see Louis Gossett Jr. again. 80 now,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, he's 80.
And he couldn't be here because he's
working.
80. He's working.
He's working. Yeah. No, Lou is still going strong. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I
And
think
he was really driving that car. I gave
You
him
knew,
the choice.
because you were in
he
it.
was in it, and
And
we
you
were in
were-
it with him.
sweating like, no, relax.
I said, Lou, we can tow it so you can act and not have to worry about it. He said, no, baby, I want to drive this. And he did.
And you've all been to Curaçao before you started shooting to get a feel of the island?
Well, I had been there before, and yeah, we did some location scouting. We found Manchi's house, I think about a full year before we started shooting, because we were trying to figure out where we were going to go. We were trying to figure out what we were going to have to build. You know, for a while we thought we were going to have to build Boo Boo's house because the proximity of the two houses was very important.
Yes, you
And
could see
so we found the house, and we thought we were going to have to build Boo Boo's house. But then we found the other house that was up the hill, and approached the people that lived there and asked them if we could use their house. And yeah, they let us do it.
working on Curaçao with the Curaçaoleños, that was fine?
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. There's a lot of young filmmakers on the island that learned here, came here to Holland to go to school, and they've gone back to Curaçao, and so they're there. Some of them doing music videos, some of them doing commercials. That's why I've always felt that there is the possibility of building a very vital film community on the island, because some of the ingredients are there. And now in this age of digital filmmaking,
Anyone can be a filmmaker.
it's easier. Yeah, it's gotten a lot easier for filmmakers to make movies now.
Did you cast people from Curaçao in the film?
Yeah, there's a lot of folks.
Extras.
A lot of our secondary actors,
Cab driver.
like the man with the machete.
Ah,
Yeah, the school teacher. Yeah, his brains are not in his feet. And he's an artist. He's a very famous artist on the island. Yeah. So Nora's girlfriends, when they're walking and talking to church. So yeah, there's a lot of Curaçao input in
the film, right?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe anyone you in the audience? Cast as well. Should you have any question? Does anyone want to ask a question? Mr. Dickerson? There's a mic over there in the middle.
Nobody?
Oh, the moderator has another question.
Okay.
Oh, well, whatever. It always takes one.
Yes.
One sheet.
How did the people on the island react to you making the film over there? And how did you see them watch the movie? And what were their responses?
I didn't quite get that. Could you?
Yeah.
How did
One more
people
time, maybe?
on the island respond to us making the film there?
I think we just. But maybe if you have something.
That was it,
to-
right?
Oh,
Well,
She was asking about people. Hi, everybody. She was asking about people in Curacao and their reaction while we were making the film. For me, my experience with the Curaçaoleños was so amazing because every time I told people I was working on double play, they'd say, I had to read double spell when I was in school. Everyone would tell me that. And I still, even here, they're telling me, oh, we read it in school. And then other people would say, I was supposed to read it in school, but I skipped through and I'm so excited the movie version is coming out. So that was a brilliant experience regarding that. People always talking about growing up with the story, wanting to see how Boo Boo would be portrayed, or how just all these characters and them being sort of like really characters that people have grown up knowing in Curacao. So,
You know, when you make a film, you know, especially if you make a film with somebody's house, a lot of times you find a house, you make a deal with the owner of the house to go in there and shoot. So you're going to disrupt lives in some way or another. And there were 2 shots that I had to get that were on the big bridge. And one was at sunset and the other one was at night. And I had worked out a thing where we didn't have to shut the bridge down. You know, we would just keep traffic, the police would just keep traffic away from the cameras. But the police said, nah, we'll shut the bridge down. We'll shut it down. And it was like, it became a huge scandal on the island because it was like rush hour, you know, in the evening on a busy business day at the end of a day, and we shut it down. So we did disrupt some lives, but I got the shots.
Hello, Ernest. I had a question pertaining to the way in which you portrayed the characters, the way in which you portrayed the characters in the film. Many of the characters would, at first glance, come across as being very flawed, but you've managed something that I find quite extraordinary, is that you've given them a level of dignity, clarity of purpose, and placed them in a context where we fully understand who they are with a very human content. I'd like you to speak a little bit about that choice, firstly, and also maybe place that within the context of how it is you might be perceived as a rebel.
Well, actually, that's an extension of the characters of the book, because in the book, those characters are so well drawn. And they're all people that we know. You know, like I said inside there, we all know a Boo Boo. We all know a Nora. They're in our families, you know. To me, it was, I just tried to portray them as human beings, which is the way Mr. Arion wrote it, and the way the screenwriters were able to translate it onto the script page. So they did a really good job of translating the book. For me, it was important to make the island a character because the people were so well drawn already. It was real easy. And then the casting, that was another part of the casting. Finding some guys and girls that knew who these people were and who were in love with them themselves. So.
Any more? Are we done?
Is that it?
A comment? Yes, you can. Of course.
Miss Busybody on the mic. I wanted to make a comment about our young actor, Danny Dare.
Yeah.
You guys, this young man, just being, I spent so much time with him on the island, and I mean, through mosquitoes and just, this boy was so focused. I mean, I've never seen a young actor so focused. I'm always playing mothers, and I always have children, but to have him as a child and see how serious and determined and clear he was. His mother also, Nikki, I don't know if Nikki's here with us. His mother just really guiding him as a young actor. It was just really brilliant to see how seriously he takes his craft. I mean, it's really not a game. When we were working with the school teacher scene, I think the school teacher, the guy who played the school teacher, he was so surprised to see what a serious young actor Danny was. And so when we had our premiere last night and his face came on the screen at the end, the drawings during the credits, And the people said, ah, I was so excited just because I really believe that this young man is going to do really great things. And I'm just really proud to work with him at this point in his life.
And he can play a mean saxophone.
And he plays a mean saxophone.
And he plays, right? Saxophone, right?
One more, okay.
I didn't want the opportunity to pass without asking about the music.
Yeah.
Because I was dancing at the end through the credits, and there's beautiful
My composer
music and
is
score
right
all the
here,
way through.
Mr. Jay Wadley.
Oh, also, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Mr.
everybody.
Dickerson.
Thank you for
Thanks.
coming.